through Georgia, the moon was hanging low, with the pine trees softly swaying where the warm night breezes blow. There were crickets in the shadows, there were stars above the road, and your hand was like a promise that my heart would always hold. We had no way of knowing where the years would take us through, but every southern evening still reminds my heart of you. Take me back to Georgia, where the old songs filled the air, where the moonlight touched your shoulder and love was standing there. Take me back to Georgia, where the golden memories shine. Every road beneath those stars still leads your heart to mine. There were churches in the distance, there were flowers by the lane, there were prayers beneath the silence, like a blessing after rain. You were laughing by the roadside, I was singing soft and wrong, and the whole world felt much sweeter when you smiled inside that song. Now the road has turned much farther, and the map has changed its name, but every time the music plays, I walk with you again. Take me back to Georgia, where the old songs fill the air, where the moonlight touched your shoulder and love was standing there. Take me back to Georgia, where the golden memories shine. Every road beneath those stars still leads your heart to mine. Georgia night, ooh, soft and bright, ooh, every melody brings your love back home, baby. If time would give one evening underneath those southern skies, I would hold your hand more gently and never say goodbye. For love is not a highway that disappears from view. It lives inside the old songs and every road to you. Take me back to Georgia, where the old songs fill the air, where the moonlight touched your shoulder and love was standing there. Take me back to Georgia, where the golden memories shine. Every road beneath those stars still leads your heart to mine. Take me back to Georgia, where our simple dreams were true, where every prayer beneath the moon still brings me back to you. Georgia night, ooh, soft and bright, ooh, every melody brings your love back home to me. So when the old songs find me and the southern stars shine through, I'll meet you back in Georgia, where my heart first found you.
Ooh. rooster sings the dark away. There's a porch swing moving with the dawn on the old white house at Morning Star Farm. Coralie lived where the cornfields rolled, with silver hair and a heart of gold. She kept fresh bread by the kitchen flame and prayed for children she did not name. The house was quiet since her daughters grew, and the rooms held sunlight the whole day through. But every night when the moon rose high, she'd leave one lamp in the window bright. Folks would ask why she kept that swing with two old quilts and a rusted chain. She'd smile and say, "You never know who the Lord might send down this dust road." She didn't call it lonely, she called it a room for grace, a little bit of shelter with an open-hearted place. She said, "Love is not a locked-up door, table set for just one more. It's a porch light burning through the rain till somebody comes home again." There was peace on the porch swing at Morning Star Farm, where the broken found a blanket and the weary found arms. Not a mansion on a hillside, not a preacher's golden charm, just the love of God kept rocking on Morning Star Farm. When the night felt heavy, when the world felt hard, grace was waiting in that old front yard. There was peace on the porch swing at Morning Star Farm. One April evening, with the rain coming down, a county car stopped outside of town. A little girl named Josie stepped out slow, with a paper sack and eyes hung low. She had moved through houses, moved through names, moved through promises that never stayed. Her shoes were muddy, her coat was thin, and she held her breath before stepping in. Cora didn't ask what had gone wrong, didn't rush her heart to sing a song. She just poured cocoa in a chipped blue cup and let the quiet be enough. And she pointed through the screen door frame where the porch swing moved in the silver rain. Said, "Child, when words are hard to find, that old swing listens every time." Josie sat with her knees pulled tight, watching fireflies gather light. And for the first time in a long, long while, she almost remembered how to smile. Cora whispered, "You are not astray, you are not the sum of yesterday. The shepherd knows each lamb by name, and love can call you home again." There was peace on the porch swing at Morning Star Farm, where the broken found a blanket and the weary found arms. Not a mansion on a hillside, not a preacher's golden charm, just the love of God kept rocking on Morning Star Farm. When the night felt heavy, when the world felt hard, grace was waiting in that old front yard. There was peace on the porch swing at Morning Star Farm. Summer came with the clover high, bluebirds crossing the cotton sky. Josie learned to gather eggs and chase the sunlight through the garden beds. Some days laughter came running free, some days fear hid beneath the sheets. But Cora prayed by the hallway light, singing low through the longest nights. At church one Sunday near the river bend, the children sang with their closest friends. Josie stood in a faded dress, hands held tight to her nervous chest. The first few words came soft and small, like rain beginning after a fall. choir row raised her harmony warm and low. Sometimes the Lord builds family from pieces nobody planned. Sometimes He plants belonging in a field of broken land. Sometimes a child needs time to trust. Sometimes a heart must shake off dust. Sometimes the miracle starts unseen in a porch swing, moving soft and green. A cup of cocoa, a quilt made warm, a hand held steady through thunderstorm, a whispered prayer, a lamp left on, a little girl learning she belongs. Years rolled by like a river wide. Josie grew tall with the morning light. She learned the scripture, learned the land, learned how mercy can make us stand. Chorus hands grew tired and slow, but her porch light kept its faithful glow. And every evening when the chores were done, they watched the fields turn gold with sun. When autumn day by the courthouse square, Cora brushed back Josie's hair, signed her name with a trembling hand, and gave that child a forever land. No trumpet sounded, no grand parade, just tears on papers and prayers quietly made. But heaven smiled through the window glass, like every wandering mile had passed. As the day is coming to an end, every moment starts to blend. All the things I've done and said running softly through my head. Some were right and some were wrong, some were weak and some were strong. Still I know through all of it, you were there, you never quit. As I lay me down tonight, I will rest within your light. Every worry fades away as I choose to trust and pray. As I close my weary eyes, I release what's in my mind. In your care I now remain, till the morning comes again. Take the things I couldn't change, every loss and every pain. Hold them in your loving hands, just the way you always planned. As I lay me down tonight, I will rest within your light. Every worry fades away as I choose to trust and pray. As I close my weary eyes, I release what's in my mind. In your care I now remain, till the morning comes again. Watch over me through the night, keep me safe till morning light. Every breath, every dream, resting in your peace serene. as I choose to trust and pray, as I lay me down tonight. Every step felt unsure, like I was meant for something more. Through the noise I heard your voice, calling me to make a choice. Leave the fear and come alive. There's a purpose in this life. You called me for a reason, through every changing season. In the dark, in the light, you are guiding all my life. You called me for a plan, held me in your loving hand. Now I see what I can be through the life you gave to me. You said every gift and every breath has a meaning, nothing's left. You called me for a reason, through every changing season. In the dark, in the light, you are guiding all my life. You called me for a plan, held me in your loving hand. Now I see what I can be through the life you gave to me. Every step I choose to take is for you, for your name's sake. Changing season, in the dark, in the light, you are guiding all my life. You called me for a plan, held me in your loving hand. Now I see what I can be through the life you gave to me. You called me for a reason. There was a letter in the hymnal on the third row, left-hand side, folded up between the pages, where old prayers learn to hide. Josephine cleaned the little church with cotton gloves and a heart that hurt. She swept the island while the morning sun came breaking through. Her daughter Emily had left that town with angry words and her suitcase brown. Said, "Mama, don't pray me back again." Then disappeared beyond the county bend. But Josephine still set her place, still whispered mercy, still asked for grace. And every Sunday, soft and slow, she sang the hymn her child used to know. There was a letter in the hymnal where the tear-stained pages turn, a quiet little testimony of how long a mother burned. When the road was cold and love felt far away, God kept hope alive in the words she couldn't say. There was a letter in the hymnal, and heaven heard her pray. Years went by with no return, only candles left to burn. Emily chased a city sky, but every dream there passed her by. She worked 3 jobs and slept alone, changed her number, changed her home. But shame can follow like a train, through every station, through every rain. Then one night near Christmas Eve, she found a memory hard to leave, a church bell ringing through the snow, and her mama singing soft and low. There was a letter in the hymnal where the tear-stained pages turn, a quiet little testimony of how long a mother burned. When the road was cold and love felt far away, God kept hope alive in the words she couldn't say. There was a letter in the hymnal, and heaven heard her pray. Emily came home in the early spring when dogwood branches started opening. The chapel door was unlocked and wide with golden dust in the morning light. She sat down where she used to sit, reached for the hymnal worn and split, and there between Amazing Grace, she found her mama's hand on a folded page. It said, "My child, wherever you roam, the Father still can lead you home. And if I'm gone before you see, know that love has waited faithfully." Some prayers are spoken out loud, some rise quiet beneath the crowd. Some are folded, some are worn, some wait years to be reborn. And every page that mercy turns, every wounded heart that learns, is held by one who never leaves, who plants new songs in those who grieve. who saves every soul that's gone astray. Brought Emily back home through the word she found that day. By the altar, through the rain, grace was calling her by name. There was a letter in the hymnal, and heaven heard her pray. Used to walk a lonely road, carrying a heavy load, trying hard to be enough, but never feeling strong enough. Every night I questioned why every dream just passed me by. I was searching for a light somewhere in the endless night. Then I heard a voice so clear, calling me to leave my fear. This is my story now. I'm not who I was before. Every chain that held me down doesn't hold me anymore. This is my story now. Grace has changed my every step. I was lost, but now I'm found, and I won't forget. Pain once lived, now I see a different view. Everything has been made new. All the roads that led me here, all the doubts, all the fears, were the steps I had to take to become who I am today. Every moment led me here. Now I stand without my every chain that held me down doesn't hold me anymore. This is my story now. Grace has changed my every step. I was lost, but now I'm found, and I won't forget. Not by strength and not by might, but by love that gave me life. Every scar, every fall led me to the truth of it all. This is my story now. I'm not who I was before. Every chain that held me down doesn't hold me anymore. This is my story now. Grace has changed my every step. I was lost, but now I'm found, and I won't forget. This is my story. wooden table by the kitchen wall, where we bowed our heads when the evening called. Not much money, but enough to share, and a whole lot of love in a simple prayer. Daddy worked hard with his calloused hands. Mama kept faith when we couldn't understand. Every plate had a story, every chair had a name, and every hard day ended just the same. We didn't have much, but we had enough when the Lord filled the room with love. There was grace at the supper table, peace in the candlelight, hope in the hands that held us through every troubled night. There was joy in the little things, faith when the road got hard, and I still carry every blessing deep down in my heart. Years rolled on and the house grew still. That old dirt road lies beyond the hill, but when life gets heavy and I lose my way, I hear those voices when I start to pray. I've sat at tables where the lights were bright, but none felt holy like those country nights, where broken people found a place to belong, and mercy sounded like an old church song. Now I know what my heart still needs is the simple truth that raised me. There was grace at the supper table, peace in the candlelight, hope in the hands that held us through every troubled night. place beyond the sky, where no tear will ever cry, where the night will turn to day and the sorrow fades away. I can almost hear the sound of the joy that will be found when I reach that distant shore. I'll be home forevermore. On that golden shore I will stand, in the light of His own hand. All the pain will be no more when I reach that golden shore. On that golden shore I will sing, with the saints and angels ring. Every heart forever whole, safe within His endless home. Through the trials here below, there's a promise that I know. Every step is drawing near to a place beyond all fear. On that golden shore I will stand, in the light of His own hand. All the pain will be no more when I reach that golden shore. On that golden shore I will sing, with the saints and angels ring. Every heart forever whole, safe within His endless home. Though I walk this world today, I am not too far away from the place my heart will be, in His perfect harmony. On that golden shore I will stand, in the light of His own hand. All the pain will be no more when I reach that golden shore. On that golden shore I will sing, with the saints and angels ring. Every heart forever whole, safe within His endless home. On that golden shore. Where the willow trees lean by the railroad line, and the morning fog hangs soft as twine, there's a little white church with a weathered ring, and a bell that still remembers everything. Sadie Lynn grew up where the dust road curled, with bare feet by the kitchen flame, and every Sunday called her child by name. But years can pull like a river wide, and dreams can look like the other side. So Sadie packed her hopes in a faded case, left Willow Crossing for a faster place. The city lights were bright but cold. They promised plenty, then took their toll. And every night by the window pane, she missed the fields after summer rain. She said, Lord, I thought I knew the road ahead, but I lost myself in the life I led. Then somewhere deep in her homesick soul, she heard that old church bell start to roll. There was a bell at Willow Crossing, ringing through the misty air, calling every weary traveler back to grace and back to prayer. Not loud with judgment, not dressed in gold, just a sound like home. When the night grew cold, when Sadie thought she'd gone too far, past every porch light, field and star, God kept calling through the falling rain. With the bell at Willow Crossing, she came back home in November gray, when the cotton fields had been cleared away. The church roof sagged on the eastern side, and the paint had peeled where the years had cried. Old Mrs. Pearl still kept the key under a stone by the cedar tree. She hugged Sadie close without one word, like forgiveness was something felt, not heard. Inside the chapel, the pews were worn, dust lay thick where prayers were born, and hanging above on a cracked pine beam, the old brass bell still held its gleam. Sadie climbed with trembling hands, pulled the rope where her mama used to stand, and one clear note crossed field and stream, like heaven waking up a dream. No choir was there, no crowd outside, just one lost daughter with tears in her eyes. But the Lord can fill an empty room with mercy breaking through. There was a bell at Willow Crossing, ringing through the misty air, calling every weary traveler back to grace and back to prayer. Not loud with judgment, not dressed in gold, just a sound like home. When the night grew cold, when Sadie thought she'd gone too far, past every porch light, field and star, God kept calling through the falling rain. With the bell at Willow Crossing, by Christmas time, the town had heard that chapel bell and its silver word. Farmers came with boards and nails, children brought garland in rusty pails. They fixed the windows, swept the floor, hung fresh pine on the chapel door. And every evening when the sun dipped low, Sadie rang hope across the snow. One foggy night, the railroad bend, her mother's car broke down again. Her little girl cried in the backseat cold. No headlights near on that county road. But through the fog came a steady sound, the chapel bell rolling over town. They followed it slow past the willow trees till porch lights bloomed like answered pleas. Sometimes God speaks in thunder high, sometimes in stars across the sky. Sometimes He calls from a church bell rope to guide one heart back into hope. Sometimes the road that leads us home is the very road we left alone, and every scar we tried to hide becomes a doorway open wide. Grace don't ask where you have been, it simply says, come in, come in. And every soul beneath the rain can hear love calling out their name. There's a last pew by the window where the sunlight touches down, and every Sunday morning grace still gathers in that town. Eleanor Gray came in late each week with work-worn hands and tired feet. She slipped inside when the choir would start, with a folded coat and a guarded heart. She never stood where people stared, never asked for help, never asked for prayer. But old Pastor James would always smile, like heaven had been waiting all the while. Some wounds don't speak in public places, some tears hide behind familiar faces, but the Father sees what others miss, and mercy often starts like this. In the last pew by the window, where the broken came to breathe, there was room enough for sorrow, room enough to still believe. When the world felt cold and faith was hard to see, Jesus sat beside her in the last pew by the window seat. Had a daughter named Rose, with summer eyes and Sunday clothes, but a winter road and a midnight rain left Eleanor carrying years of pain. She blamed herself for every mile, for every call she missed a while. And though the town had tried to care, grief's built walls around the air. then ran back quick to her mama's place. It said, "Miss Ellie, please don't cry. My grandma says God keeps love alive." Eleanor held that paper tight as dust turned gold in the window light. And for the first time in 7 years, she let the Lord come near her tears. Some healing comes like thunder rolls, some like a child with a paper rose, some like sunlight on wooden floors, or a savior knocking at locked doors. No grief too deep, no shame too wide, no lonely heart he won't sit beside. Every pew, every road, every soul beneath the load can find a place in mercy's care. For God is already waiting where the broken came to breathe. There was room enough for sorrow, room enough to still believe. When the world felt cold and faith was hard to see, Jesus sat beside her in the last pew by the window seat. In the last pew by the window, Eleanor learned to sing again. Not because the pain was over, but because grace entered in. And the God who holds every goodbye tenderly left a light of resurrection in the last pew by the window seat. Through the glass, across the rain, Mercy whispered her daughter's name. Jesus sat beside her in the last pew by the window seat. Guilt I kept inside, every wrong I tried to run, still it followed where I'd gone. I was holding on to shame, calling out my own name, thinking I could never be anything but what I'd seen. You forgave me first, before I knew all the things your love could do. Every sin, every scar couldn't keep me from your heart. You forgave me first, set me free from the weight inside of me. Now I know what I must do. I will learn to forgive too. sigh, every hurt, every pain, I release it all again. Before I knew all the things your love could do, every sin, every scar couldn't keep me from your heart. You forgave me first, set me free from the weight inside of me. Now I know what I must do. I will learn to forgive too. You forgave me first. You forgave me first. Behind a road called Grace, where the fence posts lean, there's an orchard full of stories in the autumn leaves. Clara May kept apples by the chapel door, in a wooden crate on the old pine floor. She said, take what you need and leave what you can, with the Bible worn soft in her working hands. Her father planted those trees in spring, before the war took nearly everything. He came back quiet, but he still believed that God could grow hope from buried seeds. Every scar in the bark, every branch bent low, had a way of teaching hearts how mercy grows. And Claire would sing when the harvest came, bless the Lord who sends the rain. In the orchard behind Grace Road, love took root where the hard wind blowed. Through the frost, through the drought, through the years of doing without, when the world felt cold and faith felt slow, heaven still was growing whole in the orchard behind Grace Road. One fall evening near the county fair, a boy named Jesse wandered there, with trouble written in his restless eyes, and a pocket full of borrowed lies. He'd been running from home gone wrong, sleeping in barns and moving on. Clara found him by the cider press, cold and hungry, trying not to confess. She didn't ask him where he'd been, she only said, come on in, and bowed her head beside his chair, and thanked the Lord for getting him there. In the orchard behind Grace Road, love took root where the hard wind blowed. Through the frost, through the drought, behind Grace Road. Jesse stayed through winter's rain, mended fences, learned her Savior's name. He found peace in the morning chores and hymns beneath the kitchen door. By summer, he wrote his mama home, said, I'm sorry for the years I've roamed. I don't know how to fix what I broke, but I'm learning there's grace beneath the yoke. When she arrived with trembling hands, they met beneath the apple stand. No perfect words, no grand parade, just tears where old forgiveness stayed. Some seeds are planted deep in pain, some roots take hold beneath the rain, some fruit comes late, some branches bend, but the Father tends them to the end. Nothing wasted, nothing lost, not one tear beneath the cross. Every season, every road can bloom again where mercy flows. In the orchard behind Grace Road, love took root where the hard wind blowed. Through the frost, through the drought, through the years of doing without. When the world felt cold and faith felt slow, heaven still was growing whole. In the orchard behind Grace Road, in the orchard behind Grace Road, broken hearts laid down their load. Old regrets fell like leaves and mercy whispered through the trees. And the God who knows every seed we sow still brings a harvest home. In the orchard behind Grace Road. Past the fence line, past the rain, grace keeps blooming in His name. Heaven still was growing hope in the orchard behind Grace Road.
The old raincoat by the door still hangs beside the frame, with the smell of stormy mornings and a whisper of your name. There were puddles in the driveway, there was coffee on the stove, there were hands that held umbrellas over hearts they dearly loved. Time may dry the windows and the clouds may pass away, but love still falls like rainfall when the old songs start to play. The old raincoat by the door still brings the old days near, like a song beneath the thunder, like a voice I long to hear. The old raincoat by the door still keeps the memory warm of every prayer we whispered through the shelter of the storm. Mama stood beside the window, watching rain across the land. Daddy laughed and pulled his collar with his lunchbox in his hand. Grandma hummed a Sunday hymn while the rooftops sang along. And I never knew those rainy days would become my favorite song. Now the hallway stands in silence, and the cold is worn and gray, but every drop that falls tonight still brings me home some way. The old raincoat by the door still brings the old days near, like a song beneath the thunder, like a voice I long to hear. The old raincoat by the door still keeps the memory warm of every prayer we whisper through the shelter of the storm. Ooh, let the rain fall slow. Ooh, where the old winds blow. Ooh, every melody brings my old home back to me. If I could hear one rainfall from the house that raised my soul, I would thank the Lord for rainy nights that made our family whole. For love is not just sunshine, it is shelter when we're warm. It is every hand that holds us through the weather and the storm. The old raincoat by the door still brings the old days near, like a song beneath the thunder, like a voice I long to hear. The old raincoat by the door still keeps the memory warm of every prayer we whispered through the shelter of the storm. The old raincoat by the door still reminds me I am blessed by the simple kind of loving that gave every heart its rest. Ooh, let the rain fall slow. Ooh, where the old winds blow. Ooh, every melody brings my old home back to me. So when the rain is falling and the old song softly poured, I remember every shelter in the raincoat by the door. The old shoes by the door still rest beside the frame, like they're waiting for the footsteps of the ones who never came. There was mud upon the leather from the fields behind the house, and I still can hear the laughter when the evening settled down. Time may change the hallway and the floor may lose its shine, but love still leaves a footprint on this heart of mine. The old shoes by the door still bring the old days near, like a song beside the window, like a voice I used to hear. The old shoes by the door still walk through memory. Every step becomes a prayer that leads my heart back home to me. Daddy wore them every morning when the sunlight touched the land. Mama wiped the dust off gently with her patient, loving hands. There were suppers after hard days. There were prayers before we slept. There were promises in silence that our faithful hearts still kept. Now the fields are standing quiet and the barn is wearing gray, but when the old songs find me, I can hear those footsteps play. The old shoes by the door still bring the old days near, like a song beside the window, like a voice I used to hear. The old shoes by the door still walk through memory. Every step becomes a prayer that leads my heart back home to me. Ooh, the steps remain, ooh, through joy and pain. Ooh, every melody brings my old home back to me. If I could hear one morning those shoes across the floor, I would run into the hallway like I did in days before. For love is in the walking through the ordinary days, in every road they traveled and every prayer they raised. Shoes by the door still bring the old days near, like a song beside the window, like a voice I used to hear. The old shoes by the door still walk through memory. Every step becomes a prayer that leads my heart back home to me. The old shoes by the door by the hands that worked in silence and the hearts that gave their best. Ooh, the steps remain, ooh, through joy and pain. Ooh, every melody that brings my old home back to me. So when the evening settles and the old song softly pour, I remember every journey in the old shoes by the door.
Where the dogwood blooms by the chapel gate, and the red clay road meets the pasture plain, there's an old wood bench beneath a maple tree, where heavy hearts learned how to breathe. Alma Ruth lived by the tobacco field, with a garden fence and a faith made real. She had flour on her hands and lines on her face, from years of holding sorrow up to grace. Her daddy built the chapel long ago, with cedar boards and windows low, but time had leaned the steeple to the side, and rain came through when the storms would rise. One summer night when the lightning fell, fire took half the chapel bell. The pews were charred and the hymn books gone, but Alma stood there at the break of dawn. She said, Lord, I don't know what can be saved from ashes, smoke, and yesterday, but if your mercy still needs broken things, then use these boards for offering. There was healing on the prayer bench by Dogwood Chapel, where the wounded came softly with the burdens they carried. Not a golden altar, not a polished rail, just old burnt cedar and a love that would not fail. When the road grew lonely, when the night fell full, God met his children on that prayer bench by Dogwood Chapel. Alma pulled the strongest planks aside, sanded down the edges black with fire, took 2 legs from a broken pew and made a bench where the dogwood grew. She set it out beneath the morning sky with a little hand-painted wooden sign. If your words are gone, sit here a while. The Father hears what tears compile. First came May from the dairy row with a basket full of laundry clothes. She sat down quiet at 3:30 and cried for her son across the sea. Then came Ruthie from the Mill Creek line with a tired heart and bills behind. She held her breath like shame was near, till Alma brought sweet tea and disappeared. Nobody preached, nobody cried, nobody asked what hurt inside, but every soul that sat down there felt heaven bend low through the country air. There was healing on the prayer bench by Dogwood Chapel, where the wounded came softly with the burdens they carried. Not a golden altar, not a polished rail, just old burnt cedar and a love that would not fail. When the road grew lonely, when the night felt full, God met his children on that prayer bench by Dogwood Chapel. One October when the leaves turned brown, a young girl came from the edge of town. Her coat was thin, her eyes were wide, and fear walked close on either side. She had a note folded in her hand, said, I've made a mess I don't understand. My mama says I've lost my way, and I don't know how to kneel and pray. Alma sat beside her in the shade, let the wind move slow through the maple blades, then said, Child, grace is not afraid of anything you bring today. The girl broke down by the chapel stone, said, I thought the Lord had left me alone. Alma whispered, he was on the road carrying you before you even know. Sometimes the church has walls and bells, sometimes it's where a tired heart tells the truth they carried far too long and finds the Lord was there all along. Sometimes the altar is a field, sometimes the sermon is learning to heal, sometimes forgiveness starts to rise through tear-wet sleeves and honest eyes. A burnt old board, a dogwood blue, carved small beneath the seat, initials worn by rain and heat, a ribbon tied for a baby born, a little cross for a family torn. Alma's hands grew weak with time, but her heart still rang like Sunday chimes. And every morning when the dew was new, she prayed for folks she never knew. Then one dawn when the fields were gold and the maple leaves began to fold, Alma smiled by the chapel door and went to rest on the brighter shore. There was healing on the prayer bench by Dogwood chapel, where the wounded came softly with the burdens they carried. Not a golden altar, not a polished rail, just old burnt cedar and a love that would not fail. Now the women sing when the church bells pull, and the children gather where the shade is cool. There is healing on the prayer bench by